60 to 70 to 80 years old? Walking less? Try doing these 6 things instead. Ever catch yourself wondering, when did walking get so hard? One day you're breezing through the grocery store, and the next, even climbing a few steps feels like a workout. Maybe your knees creak, your balance feels off, or your energy just isn't what it used to be. Sound familiar? If so, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. Hi, I'm William. I've spent over 5 decades guiding folks in their 60s, 70s, even 80s toward healthier, happier lives. And listen, I've seen something remarkable. When walking becomes tough, there are other ways to stay strong. Better ways to keep your independence, your confidence, and your spark. You see, staying active doesn't have to mean pounding the pavement. In fact, today I'm going to show you 6 surprising, science-backed alternatives to walking that you can do right at home. They're gentle, they're powerful, and they might just change the way you move and feel. So, take a breath, settle in, and get comfortable. Because what you're about to learn, it could be the start of a brand new chapter. All right, ready? Let's begin with something simple but essential. Your legs. Now let's talk legs, because whether you're walking across the room or simply standing up from your favorite chair, your legs are everything when it comes to staying independent. You know, I remember a woman named Alice, 77 years young, sharp as a tack, but she told me something that stuck. She said, "William, I used to bounce up from a chair without thinking. Now, I have to plan it like it's a mission." I smiled and told her, "Alice, it's not about age, it's about strategy. And the simplest strategy? Start with chair stand-ups. Here's how it goes. Sit in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor, back straight. Then, slowly, stand up. No rush. Use your hands for support if you need to. Then gently sit back down. That's it. Do that 5 to 10 times, twice a day. It might feel like nothing at first, but that little move, it strengthens your thighs, the very muscles that keep you steady on your feet. And once that feels easy, add in seated leg lifts. Sit tall, extend one leg out straight until it's parallel to the floor. Hold for 3 seconds, then lower it back down. Switch legs. Repeat a few times. You can even do this while watching the news or during your morning coffee. I know it sounds simple, and it is. But here's the thing. Simple doesn't mean weak. In fact, research from the Mayo Clinic shows that these movements help prevent falls, improve muscle strength, and even boost confidence in everyday tasks, like climbing stairs or getting in and out of the car. Alice? After a few weeks, she was standing up with ease, and she told me something that gave me goosebumps. I don't dread getting up anymore. That's what it's all about. Reclaiming those little moments of independence. So, start where you are. Don't worry about numbers or reps. Just commit to showing up for yourself each day, even for 5 minutes. That's enough to shift the tide. All right. Now that we've got our legs moving, let's talk about something that brings a whole new rhythm to your routine, and maybe even a little joy too. You guessed it, part 2 is all about music. Let's dive in. You know, there's something magical about music. It doesn't matter if you're 18 or 88. The right song can take you back to a dance floor, a first date, a Sunday afternoon in the kitchen, humming along with the radio. And believe it or not, that same music, it can move you, quite literally. Let me tell you about Henry. He's 81, lives alone, and used to say, "William, I'm too old to exercise." But one day, I caught him tapping his foot to a little Chuck Berry tune. I leaned over and said, "Henry, that right there, that's movement." His eyes lit up. You see, rhythmic movement, even done while sitting, does wonders for your coordination, circulation, and mood. And it doesn't have to be fancy. Just play a song you love. Sinatra, The Temptations, Patsy Cline, whatever gets your soul smiling. Then tap your hands on your lap, sway your shoulders, circle your arms gently, maybe even sing along. One song. That's 3 minutes of joy and movement without even realizing it. And it's not just fun, it's backed by science. Studies show that rhythmic movement, especially when paired with music you enjoy, activates parts of the brain tied to memory and balance. It can even help reduce feelings of anxiety or loneliness. That's powerful stuff. And you can do it anytime. Waiting for the coffee to brew? Turn on a tune? Need a pick-me-up mid-afternoon? Let your body move with the beat. No pressure, no routine, just natural movement and a smile. Henry? Well, now he has what he calls his music minute every morning, and he swears by it. Says it keeps him young. So, I ask you, what's your song? The one that gets your toes tapping before the chorus even hits? Play it today and let your body join in. All right. Now that we've found our rhythm, let's keep that gentle energy flowing. In the next part, we're exploring 2 ancient practices that bring strength, balance, and calm to your body, all from the comfort of a chair. Yep, it's time to talk about chair yoga and seated Tai Chi. Let's keep moving. Now, let's slow things down a bit, not to stop moving, but to move smarter. Because here's a little truth I've learned over the years. Sometimes, the most powerful movements are the gentlest ones. Enter chair yoga and seated Tai Chi. Ah, I can hear someone saying, "William, yoga? At my age?" And trust me, I've heard that more times than I can count. But here's the thing. This isn't about twisting yourself into a pretzel. It's about reconnecting with your body. One breath, one stretch, one graceful motion at a time. I'll never forget Margaret. She was 73 when her daughter dragged her to a chair yoga class at the library. She told me later, "William, I rolled my eyes the whole way there. But by the end, I felt like I'd woken up from a long nap." Chair yoga and seated Tai Chi focus on mindful movement. That means you're moving slowly and gently, but with purpose. You're improving your posture, your flexibility, even your lung capacity, all without leaving your chair. Try this right now. Sit tall in your seat. As you breathe in, raise both arms out to the side and up to shoulder height. As you breathe out, gently lower them. That's it. Do that 3 times. Feel your shoulders relax, your chest open up. That's the magic. Even just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference. Studies from the National Institutes of Health show improvements in balance, mood, and even sleep. Plus, there's a calming effect that's hard to put into words. It's like your nervous system lets out a sigh of relief. And the best part? You can find free chair yoga or Tai Chi videos online, or check with your local senior center. Some even offer live Zoom classes you can join from home. Margaret now swears by her practice. She told me, "It's not about flexibility, it's about freedom." Speaking of freedom, there's one area that often gets overlooked when we talk about movement, and that's sleep. You might not expect it, but the way you sleep has a powerful effect on how well you move when you're awake. Let's talk about it in part 4. Therapeutic sleep habits. All right, Let's talk about something that might surprise you. Sleep. Yep, sleep. You might be thinking, William, what does sleep have to do with moving better? Well, more than you might think. Because when we sleep, our body isn't just resting, it's repairing. Muscles recover, joints relax, the brain clears out clutter. It's like sending your body to the workshop overnight. But here's the challenge. As we get older, sleep gets a little trickier. You might find yourself waking up stiff, groggy, or still tired. Sound familiar? That's why I want to introduce you to something I call a restoration routine. It starts about an hour before bed. Dim the lights. Lower the thermostat. Around 68 degrees is perfect. Now add a little gentle movement. Maybe those chair yoga stretches we talked about earlier. Follow it with a few slow, deep breaths. And if you like, a warm cup of chamomile tea. Barbara, one of my longtime coaching clients, used to wake up every morning with stiff joints and heavy legs. She thought it was just part of aging. But once she started her nighttime routine, she said, William, I sleep like I did when I was 40, and I wake up ready to move. The Sleep Foundation backs this up. They found that seniors who get consistent, high-quality sleep show up to 40% better balance and coordination the next day. That's no small thing when it comes to preventing falls or having the energy to enjoy your day. And if your mind races at bedtime, try this simple trick. Keep a little notebook by your bed. Jot down any thoughts, worries, or to-dos that are bouncing around in your brain. It helps release them, like setting them down for the night so you can rest too. The bottom line? Good sleep makes movement easier. It boosts your mood, sharpens your focus, and gives your body the recovery time it needs. Now, once your sleep is working with you, not against you, it's time to think about how to move more, even if you're not walking far. And that brings us to something I absolutely love. Smart movement breaks. Let's talk about how a few small motions throughout the day can lead to big changes. You know, one of the sneakiest things that steals our strength as we age, it's not illness, it's inactivity. And I'm not talking about skipping the gym. I mean those long stretches of sitting, watching TV, reading, scrolling, or just relaxing in the recliner. All perfectly normal things. But when we sit too long without moving, the body starts to slow down. Muscles get tight. Joints stiffen. Balance fades. But here's the good news. You don't need to exercise all day to stay mobile. You just need what I call smart movement breaks. I'll give you a great example. David, 76, retired teacher from Chicago. One day, he tells me, William, during commercials, I stand up and march in place, just for a minute or two. I smiled and said, David, that's genius. He turned something passive, TV time, into a moment of strength. It's simple. Just sprinkle little movements throughout your day. Waiting for toast? Stand up and sit down 3 times. On the phone? Try gentle arm circles. Reading a book? Pause every chapter and stretch your legs. These micro movements, they add up. They get your blood flowing, keep your joints loose, and boost your energy. The CDC even found that short activity bursts, just 2 minutes every hour, help maintain flexibility and reduce the risk of falls. Need help remembering? Set a timer on your phone, or do what one of my clients does. She puts a sticky note on her TV remote that just says move. Little reminders like that can be powerful. And here's something beautiful. When you move consistently, even in small ways, your confidence starts to grow. You stop feeling like you're slowing down, and you start feeling capable again. David said it best, "I don't just feel better, I feel like myself again." So try it. Pick one daily activity, morning coffee, afternoon news, brushing your teeth, and add a movement to it. Just one. Then build from there. All right, we've covered a lot. But before we wrap up, there's one more simple, powerful habit I want to share with you. It's free, it's natural, and it could be one of the best medicines for your muscles, your mood, and even your sleep. Let's step outside and talk about the power of sunshine. Part 6, Strategic Sun Exposure, is coming right up. Let me know when you're ready. Now, let's talk about something that costs nothing, feels wonderful, and can do wonders for your mobility. That's right, I'm talking about sunlight. You see, as we age, many of us start spending more time indoors, and that's understandable. But when we lose touch with natural light, we're also losing out on something vital. Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. Let me tell you about Patricia. She's 82, living in snowy Minnesota, and hadn't been outside much in the winter months. Her doctor noticed her vitamin D levels were low, and her balance not great. But once she started sitting by her sunny kitchen window for 10 to 15 minutes each morning, things changed. More energy, better mood, steadier steps, and science backs it up. Harvard studies show that seniors with healthy vitamin D levels have up to 30% better muscle strength and balance. You don't need to sunbathe or go hiking. Just aim for 10 to 15 minutes of morning light, ideally between 10 and 11 a.m. Sit on the porch, in the garden, or by a bright window. Even better? Combine it with a gentle movement, maybe a few seated leg lifts, or your favorite song playing softly in the background. On cloudy days or during winter, try a light therapy lamp, like Patricia did. She even made a little sunshine corner in her living room, filled with warm colors and a reading chair. She says, "It's my little sanctuary." Sunlight does more than just feed your body. It lifts your spirit. It helps regulate sleep, boost energy, and yes, supports stronger movement. So open those blinds. Step outside when you can, and let nature give you a little hug. It's one of the easiest and most joyful ways to support your mobility. And now, let's wrap this all up with one final message from me to you. So, what did we learn today? Well, you now have 6 powerful, gentle, and practical ways to stay strong, even if walking isn't as easy as it used to be. Let's review. 1. Strengthen your legs with simple chair exercises. 2. Move your body with the rhythm of music. 3. Stretch and center yourself with chair yoga or seated tai chi. 4. Build a bedtime routine that supports deep, healing sleep. 5. Add little movement breaks throughout your day. 6. Soak up the sun and let it fuel your body and mind. But here's what matters most. Start with just one small change. That's all it takes to shift your momentum. Remember, your strength, your joy, your independence, they're not behind you. They're right here, waiting for you to reach out and reclaim them. Which habit will you try first? Let me know in the comments. And if this helped you, pass it along to someone you care about. Until then, stay kind to your body, curious in your mind, and light in your heart. You've got this.